Hey, Brandon here. Welcome to my channel and thanks for tuning in. Jason and I are back with another episode of Fantasy Football Futures, the Devy Stock Report. This is the show where we're going to introduce you to next year's rookies and the future Dynasty assets that we hope land on our Dynasty roster. So welcome to the show. Hit that subscribe button. This YouTube channel is all about scouting tomorrow's Dynasty players today. So again, welcome to the show. Let me introduce my co-host today, Jason DiRienzo of the Devy Watch. Jason, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, buddy. Ready to talk about these players with you.
Yeah, let's do it. So we're going to be talking about 10 players. We're going to take 5 each and talk about what we see in college football. We're through 3 weeks of college football. Yeah. It's exciting. And I think it's a good time to really kind of have a good idea of who some risers and fallers off. So we're going to start with our risers first. And I want to talk about Oklahoma running back Eric Gray. He is a senior, 5'10", 211 pounds. I'm going to be honest, last year and the 2 years before that, when he was in Tennessee, I was very critical of Eric Gray, but I'll tell you what, he had a great game against Nebraska this week. He ran for 11 attempts for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. I made a film of him on this YouTube channel, so go check that out. He is a draft eligible prospect for next year. But I'll tell you what, I came away impressed. I was hard on him. I thought he lacked play strength and stuff. And I turned on the film and watched him, and he looked like a different running back to me, Jason. I don't know if you saw my film or not, but the guy looks like he put on 15 pounds. And that was my big issue with Eric Gray in the past, watching his film. He always had the lateral movement. He always had the quick feet. It was, to me, all about play strength, being able to move piles, shed tackles. But I'll tell you what, he looked really, really good. He's got that good size that he should be a translatable running back to the NFL and hopefully to hit our Dynasty rosters. But he looked really fluid. PFF gave him a grade here of 85.9. He ranks 9th nationally, and he had 13 broken tackles and 37 rushing attempts through 3 weeks. So I think he's a solid option to be maybe crack the top 10 running backs for the 2023 draft. That's how impressed I kind of was with his film. Did you have a chance to take a look at that film I put out?
Yeah, I did get a chance to take a look at it. I came away impressed as well, and I was very critical, just like you were. Definitely looks like a different player. Like Raheem Sanders looked different to me with his agility. Eric Gray looked different to me with his strength and just how the size he put on. So this is a nice start for him, and we'll see how it continues. Every time I see a guy that I was critical of before, I'm still a little hesitant to get excited about. But this is definitely a good showing for him. So we'll see how it continues.
Yeah, I think if he can get the lion's share of the carries and put some stuff on table, I do have a little bit of concern. I mean, Kennedy Brooks was really productive last year, and he was a UDFA. So I don't know, but Eric Gray, again, this is a stock up show in college football, and stock up for Eric Gray. Who do you got?
For sure. Yeah, my guy, KEON Coleman out of Michigan State, wide receiver, big guy, 6'4", 210 pounds, has a basketball background, track background. Now, I wouldn't say the track background translate into his speed, more so with the jumping ability, the long jump. He's got the ability to really climb the ladder. I mean, his elevator goes all the way to the penthouse once he gets above a defender, and he's kind of showcasing that now, really coming on this season. 33% dominator rating, yards per team pass attempt is 2.38, and that's a great start for a kid of his size, his demeanor, who can actually be a very good outside receiver and red zone threat. So stock up on KEON Coleman.
Yeah, I can't say I've watched a lot of KEON Coleman, so good stuff there. My second guy is one of my fan favorites. I know we're going to talk about one of your favorites here shortly too. So, RASHEE Rice is just tearing it up. He is a senior, 6'2", 203 pounds. He's one of my favorite kind of dark horse receivers to go into the 2023 draft cycle. I think he could be a late riser, but this kid is just dominating right now. Through 3 weeks, he has 28 receptions, 491 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, last year, I did a film breakdown on this YouTube channel, so feel free to go back and take a look at that. He played primarily out of the slot in 2021, and I went back and looked on PFF back in 2020 and 2019. He is a senior this year. He played primarily over 90% of his snaps outside, and then 2021, he played 93% of the snaps in the slot. And last year we had Danny Gray there, we had Calcaterra and Robertson and all these receivers who ended up going to the NFL. So he's the number one cat right now at SMU, and he's getting the number one coverage. Every defensive coordinator knows this guy is getting the ball, and he is just producing. This week against Maryland, he had 11 receptions for 193 yards. He is leading college football right now in reception yards with 491. So he's got a good education in the slot. He's got a good education out wide. So that's good from a versatility standpoint going to the NFL. So stock up. I really like this kid. I like his physicality. I like his size. Again, it seems like a lot of smaller receivers are in the draft next year coming out, but this is going to be one of these kids, I think, that are going to be a little bigger, a little stronger. And I'm excited to just see how he continues to progress and just dominate. I think he's a name that's going to rise even more as we get closer to the 2023 draft cycle.
Yeah, you definitely got something in Rashee Rice. He looks the part. I like the size, and that play strength that you continue to talk about. It's evident. So I think Rashee Rice definitely has a nice season coming along for him, and he's absolutely a riser. So good thing we're talking about him tonight. My guy, I think we found a way to sneak our guys that we truly love into this episode here. But Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State, man. All he does is produce, and all he's done is produce since day one, and he just needs to be talked about more. In this game against Ohio, he just looks fantastic. I mean, Deckers isn't throwing him the easiest balls. He's having to make some difficult adjustments to low and high thrown balls, trying to get those one arm snags in the end zone. Some he can come down with, some he can't, but he's got some fight in him. He wants the ball every single time. So just keep your eye on Xavier Hutchinson. Great size and just a natural producer, man. He's got 50% dominator rating so far this season, and he's the entire offense.
Yeah, he looks really good. I think he is a riser as well. And the more I watch him, I like him more than Rashee Rice, to be honest with you. I like his versatility, and I like his yak ability as well. I think he's got I should
bring that up more. You're right. He's got great yak ability.
He's got some juice with the ball in his hands, and as we know in the NFL, that's really, they covet that. My third riser, I want to talk about a Devy stock up player. Now, this guy is going to be not hitting your dynasty rosters for 3 years. He is a incoming freshman, Dane Key from Kentucky. Freshman, 6'3", 194 pounds, through 3 games as a true freshman, no less. He has 13 receptions, 226 yards, and 3 touchdowns, averaging 17.4 yards a catch. And so he's just dominating. And we talked about Tavion Robinson, another Kentucky wide receiver we spoke about on the show about a week or two ago, who was one of my stock ups as well. And for Dane Key right now, he's got 13 receptions. Tavion Robinson has 13 as well, but this guy's got 3 touchdowns, and Robinson has none. So he's outshining, the incoming transfer that was supposed to really take over for Wan'Dale Robinson. But Dane Key is making a name for himself. And really what I like about him are his ball skills and his body movements. Again, he's very athletic for 6'3". But we're always looking for those early breakout players, right? We're always looking for those freshmen that come in and make their mark early, as we know in the analytic crowd as well. You get an early breakout, means you're a pretty damn good player playing over juniors and seniors who've been there for a few years. So that is good for him. And he's got a 21 market share already, pretty much, in the receiving room. So I think he's a good player. If you got him on your dynasty roster, your Devy roster rather, good for you. But stock up for Dane Key. I think he's going to be the focal point of that offense for the next 3 years.
Yeah, not only is Dane Key not the guy that I pinned to be a riser on this squad as far as the receiver position, but he's also not even the true freshman I pinned to be the riser on this squad. So for him to just do what he's doing, that's a huge mark on his profile in a positive way. So Dane Key, I'm excited about that kid.
You're talking about Barry Brown. He's got 9 receptions for 99 yards. So he's contributing too, but Dane Key just looks the part. You go out there and watch this kid play. He just looks like he is the real deal.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm going to switch going from the receiver position, go to the quarterback position. And this is more so a respect thing, but also, we've seen the rise when NFL teams are looking at players who have a productive season without a lot of mistakes. And so far, Spencer Sanders, Oklahoma State quarterback, is having a great season. 10 touchdowns to 1 interception. Going through his reads, footwork looks good, making NFL passes to the outside. Good touch on the ball, knows how to navigate. I think he's got 3 rushing touchdowns as well. So just an underrated player who just seems to, like, the light is starting to turn on for him. So keep him on your radar. We see this all the time where some of these quarterbacks come out of nowhere. Spencer Sanders was on our radars a couple years back. Maybe he's coming back on again.
Nice. Yeah. Do you think he has any draft
it's a little too early, but I'm going to call it out while I see him performing at the level he's performing. So we'll see.
I like it. I like it. So, hey, look, and we love talking about guys that go up, but we also have to talk about guys that go down, right? This is the show. Sure. This is what we do. Yep. So my first stock down player, I got 2 here tonight that I want to talk about. The first one is Kendall Milton. And the only reason I'm bringing up Kendall Milton, 6'1" running back, 220 pounds from Georgia, is the fact that where he's still being drafted in Devy and the expectation right now where he is in the 2023 draft cycle, I just don't see it happening. I think he is going to end up being just like Zamir White, coming from the same program. I mean, through, he's averaging 6 yards a carry, but it was, again, I'm not really going to pin myself too much on the yards per carry as a judgment. I've watched every carry that this kid has had all year. And again, I just don't see any wow moments. He's made some nice splash plays in the passing game, but running in between the tackles, I'm just not seeing some dynamic player where he's going to be like maybe into that stratosphere as we get closer to the 2023 draft. I look at him as just being another Zamir White, a high-profile kid coming out of high school, going to a great program that could be RBU, some argue, bringing, running backs to the NFL. I think he looks like he's going to be part of a committee, but he's just not somebody I'm like really excited about. I just updated my Devy ranks on my Devy dashboard and kind of knocked him down a few pegs. And putting a couple other, 2024 classmen and 2025 classmen ahead of him. I just don't see him being drafted and getting a lead RB1 role in the NFL next year. I think he's going to be part of a committee, drafted as a backup with maybe potentially getting the opportunity. But again, I just see him following. And Zamir White might turn out to be something in Vegas. I'm not sure when Josh Jacob moves along. Who knows? But Kendall Milton, I just don't see what I see right now, him leading a backfield. And I think his value right now is still sky high. So I'm going to be stock down. I would recommend maybe trying to move off of him if you have him on your Devy roster.
Yeah, I loved him coming out during the recruiting process, and I haven't seen anything that gets me excited about him. And Zamir White had 2 knee injuries, like 2 bad knee injuries, and looks more explosive than Kendall Milton, I think, ever will. So I'm definitely out on Kendall Milton. I just don't see it ever happening.
Right.
I'm gonna go back to the quarterback position, and Tyler Van Dyke to me just doesn't look like he's going to be, 1, a fantasy producer at any point in the NFL, and 2, just doesn't seem to. He's kind of backtracking a little bit in his development. Even during this game, I can't even who they play. I have it on here. I can't remember. They were doing short passes behind the goal line. Like, it's almost like they didn't know how to get him going. His receivers were dropping the ball. It might be Miami as a whole, but that doesn't help the development of a quarterback. I mean, he's got great size at 6'4" in the 220s, but at the same time, everything we saw from him last year, I'm not seeing it this year. So for me, it's definitely a stock down.
Yeah, I'm on record saying I think there's 2 quarterbacks in the draft next year. I think it's Young and Stroud, and I think the rest are all just clickbait, people getting excited, hoping and dreaming. But after this year's draft class, seeing the collapse of pretty much the entire class outside of Pickett getting any kind of draft capital that we get excited about, I think it's a 2-man race next year and the rest. But I like that call. He was kind of propped up. His receivers don't do him any. I mean, they've got no stud receivers, so it's tough. I'm going to go back. My second stock down player is I'm also going to the quarterback room a little bit, and I'm going to you had this player as a stock up week 1, which I think the whole entire world did, but now he's a stock down for me, and that's Anthony Richardson. He played Utah week 1. This man has an enormous amount of pressure on him coming into the college football season, he's hearing all the whispers of potentially the best QB in college football. He's athletic, he's big, but I'll tell you what, you watch the first, 2 games after Utah at Kentucky and then USF this week. And I'm telling you, man, this guy, he looks like to me, he's playing street ball out there, that he's not a disciplined, he doesn't see the field very well. And I think all of this early talk of first round draft capital isn't doing him any favors right now. You know, again, I don't know what the mental makeup of this kid is, but I can only imagine what the pressure he must be under playing at such a big program in the SEC and having all of this talk. But the moment is, I think, too big for him right now. I mean, he's got 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with a QBR rating right now, 35.9. In the Kentucky game, he had a QBR rating. I've never seen one so low before. It's right here at 3.9.
Wow.
Was the QBR rating. So his average is 35. So, I mean, again, he's just throwing interceptions off his back foot. The fundamentals aren't there. I think he could potentially be losing his confidence. Now, the big question is, in Devy, what do you do with the guy, right? If you bought him because you were excited in the offseason, quarterbacks are hard in this game. I'm telling you, quarterbacks, I always say in the quarterbacks, you build your quarterback room in Dynasty through your NFL team by just trading away running backs, wide receivers, and don't depend on drafting guys in your Devy leagues and C2C leagues. Quarterbacks is a tough position, but stock down for Anthony Richardson. I really hope they just can get him back on track a little bit, but I think he comes back for his another year before, and we have to stop this first round talk, at least for right now.
Yeah, he has to come back. There's no way the development's going to get any better. And I think you said it, his confidence is shot right now. I mean, you got to throw a touchdown to be in consideration to even get drafted alone. Right. So, I mean, something's got to give here. So hopefully, slowly but surely, his confidence comes back, because he is fun to watch when he's on point. I'm going to go with my last guy here. And I don't think this should be a surprise to anybody, but KAYSHON BOUTTE is definitely going down as far as value wise. I mean, from where we had him, I mean, he was wide receiver 1 for a lot of people. I don't know if you can keep him there at this point, right? I mean, he's got to be able to produce. He's got to be on the field. The team as a whole just doesn't look right. But I'm not going to blame it on that. When you're an elite receiver and considered the wide receiver 1 in college football in Devy terms, you better be performing, and that's not happening. And some would say the same thing about Jackson Smith and the Jigba. Now, he got injured, and so we didn't really get a chance to see what he can do at full health in this offense yet. But KAYSHON BOUTTE, I'm not sure what's going on. Get it fixed, because as of right now, it's not looking too good.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, if I'm a GM of an NFL franchise, I want to see this kid face adversity. Right. He's facing adversity. He's had injuries. He's got a new coach. He probably can't stand him. And it doesn't matter, because you could find yourself in a very similar situation in the NFL. So again, intangibles, intangibles matter. Step up to the plate, be the leader on the team, and get it done. That's what he needs to do. So, all right, there you go, guys. You got 10 people, 10 players who, are going up and going down. Again, thanks for tuning in. And again, this channel here is going to be all geared for Dynasty players. We're going to be scouting them today for you for tomorrow. All right, Jason. Thank you, sir.
Later, buddy. Thank you.